Hello there, everybody. I'm just gonna find everybody here. So welcome to this little gig, which we're calling Songs of War and Peace. I used to have a custom a few years ago that sometime around Remembrance Day I shared a gig with maybe one or two other people, Martin Kerr, Carrie Day, Bill Worthman, Alex Boudreau. Maybe I might have forgotten one or two people, but for several years we did that. And this year, of course, it's harder for us to do that, but I'm glad to just share a few songs with you tonight from my own living room. So, without further ado, let's kick it off. I'm going to start with a recruiting song from the 18th century. For those of you who can't quite see it, I have my lyric sheets down here because I don't do a lot of these songs very often, so I need to just remind myself of the lyrics. Here we go. Hark how the drums they beat again, for all true soldiers and gentlemen, to enlist and enter into pay, over the hills and far away, o'er the hills and o'er the main, through Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and we obey, over the hills and far away. You gentlemen who have a mind to serve a queen who is good and kind, come join with us and march away, over the hills and far away, o'er the hills and o'er the main, through Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and we obey, over the hills and far away. Oh, them that are forced to go to fight will never gain true honour by it, for volunteers will win the day, over the hills and far away, o'er the hills and o'er the main, through Flanders, Portugal and Spain. Queen Anne commands and we obey, over the hills and far away. quite a crowd gathering on Facebook tonight. I can see there's about 19 or 20 of us watching right now. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for this Songs of War and Peace gig tonight. That first song was called Over the Hills and Far Away. As I say, it's an old recruiting song, which of course was made famous in the Sharp series of movies when John Townes did his own version of it, although he almost completely rewrote the lyrics. But the original, well, we don't know when it was first written, but it was first published, as far as we know, in 1719. And it's probably older than that, because Queen Anne, who's mentioned in the lyrics, reigned from 1702 to 1714. So the wars were probably some of the European wars that were fought in her time. So Over the Hills and Far Away. I'd ask you how the sound was, but there's not a darn thing I can do about it. So I'm hoping that it's good. So I'm going to carry on now with another traditional folk song. This is called High Germany. I learned this from the great English folk musician Martin Carthy, and he got it from a songbook which was printed in the 1780s, but he added some lines from another version of the song as well. So the wars that are mentioned in this song are probably the wars of the early 1700s as well. Now, of course, one of the things that happened in the wars in the 18th and 19th century was that there were camp followers who went along, women and children. Some of them were like common law wives or lovers of the various soldiers. And so in this song, the soldier is trying to persuade his love to go along with him to war. She's not really too happy about that idea. And you have to follow the words carefully, because the song is a bit of a dialogue between the two of them. So here we go, High Germany. Oh Polly, love, oh Polly, the rout has now begun, and we must go a march into the beating of the drum. So dress yourself in all your best and come along with me. I'll take you to the wars, me love, in High Germany. Oh Willie, love, oh Willie, come list what I do say. My feet, they are so tender, I cannot march away. And besides, my dearest Willie, I am with child by thee, not fitted for the wars, me love, in High Germany. I'll buy for you a horse, me love, and on it you shall ride, and all my delight shall be in the riding by your side. We'll stop at every ale house and drink when we are dry. We'll be true to one another, get married by and by. Oh, cursed be them cruel wars that ever they should rise, and out of merry England press many a man likewise. They press me true love from me, likewise my brothers three, and sent them to the wars, me love, in High Germany. My friends I do not value, my foes I do not fear. Now my love has left me, I wander far and near. And when my baby it is born and is smiling on my knee, I'll think of lovely Willie in High Germany. Well, Well, once again, welcome everybody. I'm just going to take a look down here and see who's here. Andrew and Marg and Morgan and Arlene. And thanks Morgan and Tony telling me that the sound is really good. Tony Kulbitsky, nice to see you Tony. Ray and Susan, Keith, Karen and Shauna. Haven't seen you for a long time, Shauna. Nice to have you with us. And Jackie's here. Hello Jackie. And Ken and Crystal and Barb and Fred and Graham. Wow. Lynn. And there's a couple of others perhaps who I've missed. Sorry if I've missed you. But quite a gathering here tonight. So thank you for doing me the honor of joining me for this little gig. Songs of War and Peace. This is not a sort of a rah-rah patriotic nationalist evening. This is more of a reflective evening where we can think about the cost of war and the things that happen that maybe have been difficult for the people who've been involved in it. Some of these songs are traditional folk songs, going back, some of them hundreds of years, and some of them are my own songs, and I'm going to do a couple of cover tunes as well. This next song is kind of a hybrid. I'm going to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Kate Rusby put out an album, and the first track on that album was an old folk song called Benjamin Beaumanier. And I liked the song, but I couldn't really make head nor tail of the lyrics. And but I found it interesting, and so I took the tune and started with the first verse, and then completely rewrote the lyrics and changed the tune a little bit too. So this is a song which I call "The Armies Went Marching Away," but it's loosely based on an old folk song called Benjamin Beaumanier. Here we go. Have you heard how the war began? Children, my children, have you heard how the war began? Armies away. Have you heard how the war began? Somebody shot a man, and the armies went marching away. The armies went marching away. Have you heard why he fired the shot? Children, my children, have you heard why he fired the shot? Armies away. Have you heard why he fired the shot? Freedom was what he sought, and the armies went marching away. The armies went marching away. Children, my children, have you heard of the battle cries? Armies away. Have you heard of the battle cries? The trenches where millions died, and the armies went marching away. The armies went marching away. What became of them? Children, my children, have you heard what became of them? Armies away. Have you heard what became of them? Poppies and graves for them, and the armies went marching away. The armies went marching away. How the war began? Children, my children, have you heard how the war began? Armies away. Have you heard how the war began? Somebody Johnny shot a man, and the armies went marching away. The armies went marching away. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us for this lovely little gig tonight. It's so great to see so many of you joining me. I'm following on the computer here. I'm not able to keep up with all of your comments, although I know that Marcy, who's sitting back in the kitchen, is doing her best to keep up with your comments. So thank you for all of you. And it'd be great if those of you who haven't left a comment yet, if you would do that, that'd be lovely. Just to let us know that you are here. We can see that you're here and you can join in the chat. As we normally do when we're having a gig in a coffee shop. We chat away between the songs, and sometimes we chat away during the songs as well. So I'm just going to adjust my tuning here a little bit. Go. Now, what have we got next? Oh yes. This is a song that I wrote. I wrote this song in memory of my great-grand-uncle, Horace Arthur Thornton. He was killed in action in the First World War on July the 27th, 1917 in France, aged 21 years old. His father, Walter Harry Thornton, was a house decorator, and in the 1911 UK census that is also listed as Horace's occupation, and he wouldn't have been very old at that time, so it seems like that he as a quite young teenager had joined his dad in the family business, and I would suspect that the idea was that he would carry on after his dad gave up work. So that was the plan, but of course that didn't work out that way for so many people in the First World War. Their lives were brought to an abrupt and horrible end. So this is a song which I have written for him. Hello Glenn, it's nice to see you. This is called I Wonder What He Died For in the End. Then I'm not glad the war is over. Only a fool could wish it to go on. Of course I'm glad the killing's finally done with, and now the lads will all be coming home. But I know you'll understand my heart is aching when I think of all the homecomings and songs, with so many sons returning to their families. But our Horace, he'll still be forever gone. It's not that I'm not proud he served his country. I'll wave the flag and cheer with all my friends. But sometimes when I'm looking for his picture, I wonder what he died for in the end. made me living painting houses. I learned it from my dad when I was young. Since Horace was 13, he worked beside me. I'd always hoped that he would follow on. It's not that I'm not proud he served his country. I'll wave the flag and cheer with all my friends. But sometimes when I'm looking at his picture, I wonder what he died for in the end. I wonder what he died for in the end. Last night the crowd said loud. Let me sing that again so I get it right. Last night the crowd sang Land of Hope and Glory, and me and Emily, we sang along. But I looked at her and I knew what she was thinking. I knew her heart just wasn't in the song. Not that I'm not proud he served his country. I'll wave the flag and cheer with all my friends. But sometimes when I'm looking at his picture, I wonder what he died for in the end. No, it's not that I'm not proud he served his country. I'll still sing Rule Britannia with my friends. But sometimes when I'm looking at his picture, I wonder what he died for in the end. I wonder what he died for in the end. Thanks again, everybody, for just being with us for this little time together tonight. I really appreciate you joining me. And see, there's over 30 of us now joined together. That's wonderful. Thank you for being online tonight. Just going to adjust my tuning a little bit here so that it sounds half decent. I'm just a little bit intimidated by all the really good musicians who are tuning in to this gig tonight. I feel like I have to really be on my toes with some of you people. But thank you for being here. Andrew's asked about different instruments. You're right, Andrew, there's 3 instruments here. There's a guitar over here, this little brown one, and then there's a cittern over here, which you might hear at the end if I don't drag on for too long. So this next song which I'm going to play for you is a song which I first learned from Martin Simpson. And when I first heard him play it, he introduced it by saying that it was kind of like a 7-verse summary of the plot of the movie Master and Commander. So yeah, this is a naval song from the days of sail. Martin learned it from an old English folk singer, an old guy that lived out in the country by the name of Pops Maynard. And there have been several versions of it put out. We don't really know how old it is, but it certainly, you know, dates back to at least the 1800s, probably earlier. It's called Polly on the Shore. Here we go. Come all of you fine young men, and a warning take by me, never to lead your single life astray into no bad company, as I myself have done, it being in the merry month of May, when I was pressed by sea captain, and on board a man of war I did go. When I was pressed by a sea captain, and on board a man of war I did go. We sailed on the ocean so blue, and our bonny, bonny flag we let fly. Let every man stand true to his gun, for the Lord knows who must die. Let every man stand true to his gun, for the Lord knows who must die. Our captain was wounded full sore, and so were the best of his men. Our mainmast rigging lay scattered on the deck, and so we were obliged to give in. Our mainmast rigging lay scattered on the deck, and so we were obliged to give in. Our decks they were spattered with blood, and loudly the cannon did roar, and many's the time have I wished myself at home, all along with my Polly on the shore. And many's the time have I wished myself at home, all along with my Polly on the shore. She's a fair and a tender girl, with a dark and a rolling eye, but here I am lying bleeding on the deck, and for her sweet sake I must die. Farewell to my parents and friends, farewell my dear Polly to you. I never would have rambled the salt sea so wide if I'd ever been ruled by you. I never would have rambled the salt sea so wide if I'd ever been ruled by you. Kind of a sad story, but so many of these traditional folk songs are sad stories, of course. They don't tend to tell the stories from the point of view of the people that enjoyed the battles. So I'm going to play a song for you now which I wrote. Just a minute, I got to get the capo in the right place. So I suspect that most of us, if we look back in our family tree, know that our families have been affected by wars down through the years. And if you start doing any serious research on one of those websites like Ancestry, you'll probably discover a few more. I had a distant relative on my grandfather's sister's side, on the Fogarty side in our family, Brian Fogarty, who was a sailor on a merchant ship in the convoy in the Second World War, and his ship was torpedoed and sunk, and he died in, I believe, 1941. And of course, we know that that happened to lots of people on both sides in the Second World War and in the First World War. So I've written this song not specifically for Brian. It's written from the point of view of a person who's actually serving in a naval vessel, but with the Battle of the Atlantic in mind. So here we go. It's called Shield Me from the Cruel Sea. Some of you may well know the novel by Nicholas Montserrat called The Cruel Sea, which is probably one of the best novels that's ever been written about what it's like to serve at sea in wartime in modern times. Shield me from the cruel sea. Here it goes. I'm going to try that again, didn't quite get that right. Cuts to the bone out here and the sea spray turns to ice. It freezes on this little ship in this North Atlantic night. I'm standing on this open bridge and the convoy's sailing slow. I'm waiting for the killing blast as the U-boat strikes below. On this fearful night I pray, let me see another day. Hear me as I cry to thee, shield me from the cruel sea. I was just an office boy before this war began, but now I'm on an escort ship 1,000 miles from land. A tanker take a hit, the night was bright with flames. The memory of that fiery hell is seared into my brain. On this fearful night I pray, let me see another day. Hear me as I cry to thee, shield me from the cruel sea. Should turn the other cheek, or so the Bible said. But who will guard these merchant ships if all of us are dead? But I wonder if those U-boat men are praying just like me, that God will save them from their deaths beneath the cruel sea. On this fearful night I pray, let me see another day. Hear me as I cry to thee, shield me from the cruel sea. On this fearful night I pray, let me see another day. Hear me as I cry to thee, shield me from the cruel sea. Now I would like to do a song for you which is a cover tune, and it's an interesting, unusual kind of cover tune, because the lyric to the song is actually it's actually a poem by Thomas Hardy, and those of you who know me will know that I'm quite a fan of the poetry of Thomas Hardy. But it was set to music by Billy Bragg, and Billy didn't write the music. He actually adapted the tune from an old English folk song called "The Snow It Melts the Soonest." The lyrics don't quite fit in to Billy's to the tune, and so Billy kind of made a few adjustments here and there. And this is this Thomas Hardy poem is called "The Man He Killed." I probably have to do a little bit of translating for those of you who are on the young side of life tonight. There's a couple of places where this poem really speaks in outmoded language. I think probably some of you know the phrase "to stand somebody a drink," and it mentions in the last verse standing somebody in any bar. That's probably what that means. But then the next line goes on to say, "help with half a crown." Now, I'm old enough to know what half a crown was. Half a crown was 2 shillings and sixpence, which was an amount of money before England went decimal. But some of you maybe don't know about that. So I give you now, this is my linguistic translation for you for this evening. So this is "The Man He Killed." Keep forgetting to do things here. If he and I had only met in some old and ancient inn, we should have sat us down to wet right many a nipperkin. But we were ranged as infantry and staring face to face. I shot at him and he at me, and I killed him in his place. I shot him dead because he was my foe. Just so my foe, of course he was. It's plain to me, although he thought that he'd enlist, perhaps offhand like, just as he was out of work, had sold his traps, no other reason why. How strange and curious is war. You shoot a fellow down who you would stand in any bar or help with half a crown. But we were ranged as infantry and staring face to face. I shot at him as he at me, and I killed him in his place. That's quite a powerful poem, isn't it? again, it just brings the human face to everything. Well, we're going to stick with Billy Bragg. And Billy is probably one of my favorite contemporary songwriters. Not usually thought of as being a religious person of any kind. But in 2011, which was the 400th anniversary of the publication of the King James Bible in 1611, there was a project to try to produce songs or works of art for each of the books of the Bible. And somebody asked Billy Bragg if he would like to join in that project, and he thought to himself, and I've heard him tell this story many times, he thought to himself, well, that sounds like something that nobody would expect Billy Bragg to do, so maybe I should do it. So he said, just give me one of them New Testament books where Jesus is sounding like a socialist, and I'll see what I can do. And so they did. They gave him the Gospel of Luke, and Billy chose a verse from the Gospel of Luke, do unto others as you would have them do to you. And he wrote this song. And I'm including this song tonight in this Songs of War and Peace gig, because I really think that this gets right to the heart of the matter. That if we would just treat each other decently and do to others as we would have them do to us, then a lot of these conflicts and wars would never get that far. So this is what we can all do. We can be the people who think of others and try to look after others rather than being arrogant and belligerent all the time. So this has a very singable chorus, and I'd love it if you'd sing along. I'm going to have to take it on faith that you are singing along, of course, because I can't hear you. So maybe, but if you want to join in, that would be great. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Here we go. In the Bible we are told God gave to Moses in days of old 10 great commandments for his people to hold true. But the greatest commandment of all is in the book of Luke, as I recall. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Well, it may be that you don't believe in the story of Adam and Eve and call upon science to prove it's all untrue. But in the cold light of the day, these simple words still point the way. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. So just lift up your eyes, don't pass by on the other side. Don't be bound by what you think others may do. Just a little bit of faith, that's all it really takes. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Now the way the world is run, too many people looking after number one. Don't seem to notice the damage that they do. Though it's not widely understood, there is a greater good. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Last chance. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. You sounded great, I think. I'm taking it on faith. Just a little bit of faith. That's all it really takes. That's what Billy said. Okay. I need to just make sure this guitar is in tune. It's been sitting there quietly for a little while, slowly going out of tune. Close enough for folk music. A few years ago, our Sunday night open stage used to meet at a restaurant called Hulbert's, which has since sadly closed. And I had the honor of playing the last ever song on the stage at Hulbert's. I was asked by the owners to do it, and this was a song which I quite often did at their Sunday night open stage. I learned this song from James Keelahan. And it dates back probably to the late 1700s, but it was very popular during the Napoleonic Wars. I often introduce this song and I tell people it's an anti-war song, but the war that it's anti is the Napoleonic Wars. And of course it's the Boney who appears in this song is Napoleon Bonaparte. And this song is written from the point of view of the wife, the widow, who has lost her husband in the wars and is lamenting him. So it's a lament for all those. And I sing it on behalf of all those who have lost loved ones in war. This is called The Bonny Light Horseman. Again, it has a very singable chorus. The chorus is exactly the same tune as the verse. So I would love it if you would sing along. Here we go. When Boney commanded his armies to stand, he leveled his cannon out over the land. He leveled his cannon, his victory to gain, and he slew my light horseman in his way coming pain. Broken hearted I wander, broken hearted I'll remain, since my bonny light horseman in the wars he was slain. Gonna sing that chorus again just so that you can pick it up. It goes, broken hearted I wander, broken hearted I'll remain, like gold in the clay. Broken hearted I'll wander, broken hearted I'll remain, since my body like horseman in the wars he was slain. Now the dove she laments for her mate as she flies. Oh, where, tell me, where is my darling, she cries. Where in this wide world is there one to compare with my bonny light horseman who was slain in the war? Broken hearted I wander, broken hearted I'll remain, since my bonny light horseman in the wars he was slain. When Bonnie commanded his armies to stand, he levelled his cannon right over the land. He levelled his cannon, his victory to gain, and he slew my light horseman on his way coming home. Broken hearted I'll wander, broken hearted I'll remain, since my bonny light horseman in the wars he was slain. Broken hearted I'll wander, broken hearted I'll remain, since my bonny light horseman in the wars he was slain. Thank you all for singing along with that song. I know that some of you know it very well, and so I'm very sure that you were singing along with it. Well, we're coming to the end of our time together. I have another little engagement in a little while, so I need to just do one more song for you and then be on my way. So, this is a free gig, and you know, I'm lucky that I don't need to make a living as a musician, so I'm happy for it to be a free gig. But if you have enjoyed it and if you would like to show your appreciation, I'm going to ask you to just visit the World Vision Canada website, and on World Vision Canada website to search for Raw Hope. Raw Hope. Raw Hope is a project that World Vision runs to bring much needed emergency aid into the most dangerous places in the world. A lot of this aid goes to support children and help children who are caught in war zones. So if you would like to show your appreciation, please donate to World Vision's Raw Hope project. And maybe Marcy can hear me, and maybe she will just write that in the comments so that people will be able to pick it up. World Vision Canada, Raw Hope. And you'll be helping out children who are trying to survive in some of the most dangerous places on the planet. Thank you for that. So I'm going to finish with a song which I recorded on my one and only professionally produced album, which was called Folk Songs and Renovations, which I produced in 2013. I know some of you have that album. And this song has quite a complicated story. I wrote the tune first, and when I finished with the tune, I realized I'd written a march, and I didn't really know whether I wanted to write a march. Didn't really want to write something that was militaristic or anything like that. But then I remembered the old song, When the Saints Go Marching In, and that gave me an idea for what the lyrics might be about. And so that was the inspiration for the lyrics. When I first wrote it, I used to play it on guitar, and I didn't really care for it very much. I didn't really have any confidence in it. But my good friend Rob Heath always told me that he loved this song and that it was probably one of the favourite songs that I'd written as far as he was concerned. And so I believed him, and I recorded it on that album, and I'm glad I did now, because I've kind of come around to maybe liking it a little bit, so maybe you will as well. So again, it's got you know, a bit of a singable chorus, so please feel free to sing along if you would like to. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with me tonight. It's such a delight to see people from Alberta and from Ontario and from other places as well. Thanks for taking the time out on this Remembrance Day evening to remember all of the suffering and all of the hardships that people go through. The purpose of Remembrance Day is so that we can do our best to never do this again, never do this war business again. And let's all remember to try to do unto others as we would have them do to us, so that we can do our part to make that happen. So here we are. What a day it will be. Here we go. I believe the day will come when the killing is finally done, when the war on hate is won. What a day it will be. Lambs and lions lying down on redundant battlegrounds, children laughing all around. What a day it will be when the saints come marching in. What a mighty song they'll sing. Round the world their joy will ring. In hymn lost will be restored. What a day it will be. God will mend each broken soul. Every grief will be consoled. All the earth will be made whole. What a day it will be. When the saints come marching in, what a mighty song they'll sing. Round the world their joy will ring in hymns of jubilee. Every nation, every race, joined at last in glad embrace. All the earth one holy place. What a day it will be. What a day it will be. What a day it will be. My friends, it's been wonderful to share this hour with you. Thank you so much. I'm just overwhelmed by all the people that have stopped by to listen in to this little gig tonight, and I hope that you've enjoyed the songs. And again, if you want to show your appreciation, I would love it if you would help out World Vision Canada, their Raw Hope project, which is bringing much needed emergency aid to children in war zones and other dangerous places all over the world. And I see that Marcy has posted a link in the comments section so that you can easily do that if you would like to do so. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Marcy, who's been sort of like the gatekeeper and the greeter, keeping up the comments tonight. And if you haven't left a comment, and if you'd like to do so, just to say hello to us and to let us know that you were here, maybe there were more than one of you, maybe there were a group listening at your place, that'd be great. We'd love to know that. So, my friends, thanks again for coming. I hope it won't be too long before I get a chance to do this again with you. Take care. God bless. Goodbye for now.